All this will not come up if the foundation of that home or that relationship is built on Christ. So I want to urge you, no matter how nice or moral an unbeliever is, or someone that is not a Christian is, or someone that is not a follower of God, a follower of Jesus, no matter how morally perfect the person is, you cannot enter into such hazardous relationship, because anything can happen in the future. Hello viewers, I'm Glory Samson. I'm here again your way. This is Heart Matters podcast. Let's talk heart matters. Today we're going to be answering the question that I posed in my last video, and also discuss a very important topic. I urge you to watch, I urge you to comment, and I urge you to subscribe to my channel, as I'll be bringing you issues, real issues, live issues concerning relationships and concerning marriages. And we'll be discussing deeply into it so that you don't make the mistakes that others made, and you're delivered from making deep mistakes that will make you cry all the rest of your life. All right. I did ask, should a woman own her property, a property in her name? Under the law, I told you in my last video that there's nothing like Mr. and Mrs. There's nothing like Mr. and Mrs. God forbid that your husband dies and everything that was bought was written or was documented as Mr. and Mrs. For instance, Mr. and Mrs. Benedict. Mr. and Mrs. Benedict. That property, you cannot lay claim over that property. It is not your own. It is not your own. And if he dies intestate, or if he dies without a will, and he has children, they are the next of kin. They are the next to inherit that property. If he does not have children, you will be the next, or his siblings. If you're not alive, his siblings will be the next to inherit the property. So there is nothing under the law, there is nothing like Mr. and Mrs. Benedict. If that receipt is going to be documented, it should be documented as Mr. Benedict and Mrs. so that they know that the property was jointly bought, or it should be bought in your name. There's no harm in getting property in the name of a woman. Once there's an understanding between the man and the woman. Once there's an understanding, there's no harm in a woman having properties in her name. There is no harm. But peradventure you want to have the property jointly, it should not be documented as Mr. and Mrs. Benedict. No, it should be documented as Mr. Benedict and Mrs. Kate Benedict. Did you get it? Did you get it? And there's also no harm in jointly purchasing a property or jointly having an account. This solely has to deal with understanding. You have to study your spouse. You have to study your husband, your wife, before you delve into this. Before you delve into having properties, companies jointly. Peradventure, your husband is not an understanding person, or your wife is greedy, or the husband is greedy, then don't dare it. Don't dare it. You must know who you got married to before you begin to dare into certain things. Now, let's go into the issues that we raised in the last video that I did concerning 82 years old woman and 86 years old man that were in court, and discussing about the ownership of the school, and how the school, the husband should be made a signatory to a co-signatory to the account of the school on the grounds that the woman is richer than him. Hear me, these are live issues. I'm not talking about stories on the net. No, these are not online stories. These are live issues that we encounter literally every day. Now, what issues were raised? Issue 1, the both parties are not Christians. The both parties, in fact, not information reaching me that was the third wife of the man, the third wife. So for you to step into marriage and be polygamous, every polygamous marriage, every polygamous man should be ready to see trouble in his home. Now, the both parties didn't have understanding. These are the issues you discuss during courtship. Ownership of properties, how profits should be shared. Peradventure, there is a company. Should you be made a sole signatory or a co-signatory to the account of your husband? Now, there was even an instance where my husband traveled and then dropped his ATM for me to access money. And unfortunately, when I went to slot in the ATM card in the machine, I forgot the PIN. I forgot the PIN and I imputed the wrong PIN. And the ATM card got stuck in the machine. I went to the bank. I complained that the card got stuck and I needed money, like I really needed money. And the bank officials told me, you're not a signatory to his account, so there's nothing we can do until the owner of this card comes. Should you be, if you desire to be a co-signatory, it's not like me that don't really care. I don't care because I believe that, but I had to, I believe that everybody will be fine at the end of the day. But that taught me a lesson. I had to cram my husband's PIN. I had to cram it over and over again so that I don't get stuck. The question now I'm asking myself is, what if the ATM card had expired at the time he was away? What would I have done? I wouldn't even also access the money. Is at this point I should be thinking of being a signatory to my husband's account. I should be thinking of being a signatory to his account. It won't be much of an issue for me because my husband is an understanding person. But for you, these are issues that you need to discuss at courtship level. Courtship level, I'm meant to be a signatory to your account. Even the issue of writing your will. You need to write your will early because you don't know. Nobody is wishing you death. But the drama that goes on or that follows after a man is dead or a woman is dead without a will is too alarming that you don't take the risk of not writing your will. So start preparing your will every day. There's room for amendment. There's room for amendment. So long as you're alive, there's room for amendment. As you keep gathering the properties, please keep amending your will and incorporating the right people you want to inherit what God has blessed you with. All right, there was no agreement, and then there was no transparency between the couples. The man bought the property in his name, and the woman sneaked and registered the property in her name. However, they can easily decode it by the time the receipts are brought, because they will trace how the title transferred to her. How did she get title? And definitely that receipt will come on board. But for heaven's sake, at that age, should they be in court? Should they be dragging themselves to court at 82, at 86? At 86. The family is divided. A part of the family is with the woman, is supporting the woman. A part of the family is supporting the man. Her daughter is supporting her father. She was falsely imprisoned and made to sign an MOU under duress. All this will not come up if the foundation of that home or that relationship is built on Christ. All this will not come up. So I want to urge you, no matter how nice or moral an unbeliever is, or someone that is not a Christian is, or someone that is not a follower of God, a follower of Jesus, no matter how morally perfect the person is, you cannot enter into such hazardous relationship, because anything can happen in the future.